We go. Okay. Aloha, everyone. As you are taking your seats, I'm going to invite Tommy Akana up to welcome us and start today's celebration of life service with an Oli. Tommy?
Aloha mai kako. Aloha. Um, I'm wearing this. Today, I just came from a celebration of life for my nephew, Shane Kapia. If you remember on August 1st, he was the one that drowned off of Point Panic. He went there every day after work to surf, to swim, and he passed away that day. They found him at the bottom, took him to Strub, and he was out of young. So today was his celebration of life. So I bought another shirt here to change into for Gloria, but I said, no, I'll wear this. Story. Shane died August 1st, age 51. 52 years ago, 51 years ago. Gloria was dancing hula for my cousin Nalani Keale at the celebration of Papakolea. This 51-year-old man was a 1.5-year-old toddler running around. My friend John here took a DVD of him running around. So I said, no, I'll wear this and we'll celebrate Shane. We'll celebrate Shane and Gloria at the same time. Okay? The mahalo, yes. And I just left a big celebration at Kaka'ako. 3 huge tents, it's just unreal. Anyway, so I wear this for my nephew Shane and Gloria. The Oli, my friends at Kipuka know the Oli. I will start off with the Oli Aloha. This was taught to me by my mentor, teacher, and friend, Mrs. Winona Beamer, the mother of Keala in Kapono. And in this chant, she teaches us that as you sing this chant, whoever hears your voice are welcome to this place, whether it's for a meal, it's for a celebration of life, or whatever. If you hear my voice, Helemai, come in and enjoy. The second part, I know she also teaches us that the gist of the hula is in this line. Ahikimai no oi, ahikipu no me ke aloha aloha e. That if there is love in your heart, then all things will be possible. The second part of the Oli will be the Eho Mai. If you know it, then chant along. Eho Mai was written by Auntie Edith Kanakaole, and it just says to look above in search of your chant and your mele through your culture. Eho Mai, Eho Mai, Eho Mai, guide us, guide us, guide us. And it's done in 3 parts at a half step at each progression. And then I will end with the Komakomakoi Kulkalani, the Lord's Prayer in Hawaiian, done in Gregorian chant form, as we were taught at Kamehameha. So that's it. Okay? I'm going to start from over there.
Thank you, Tommy. Aloha, everyone. On behalf of Unity Church of Hawaii and the family and friends of Gloria, Korea, I want to warmly welcome you and thank you for being here today. Gloria was a member of this beautiful spiritual community, Unity Church of Hawaii. And on behalf of the board, the staff, the volunteers, we welcome you to our spiritual home. Your presence is a beautiful reflection of the love, friendship, and ohana that Gloria shared so generously, giving of her heart. Today, we gather together with our tender hearts, some of us grieving, some smiling through tears, many of us feeling both. This is holy ground because love is here. In unity, we affirm the one presence and the one power, God the good, active in all. And as a devoted Course in Miracles student, Gloria lived from that awareness that beyond all appearances, only love is real. One of the central lines of the Course says, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. So today we remember the love that Gloria is, can never be depleted, can never go away, is always here present with each of us, within each of us, still connected at the very core of our beings to our beloved sister. Her joy, her kindness, her spiritual devotion, her willingness to show up continues in the hearts and minds of us all. Each one of us are living that presence right here, right now. And this is why we call it a celebration of life. We honor the fullness of Gloria, of her journey. We make space for those that are grieving. We make space for gratitude and memories. We make space for deep assurance that life is eternal and never ends. And as we move through this time together, you are invited to let whatever you feel just spring forth. Love, grief, joy, sadness, wonderment. It is all within, and that is okay. And if it wants to express outwardly, please feel free. This is a safe and loving space. And in a brief couple of minutes, we're going to begin. I'm going to ask everyone to silence their cell phones if you haven't done so already. And there will also be a time later on in the service for sharing memories and reflections of 1 to 2 minutes if you choose to do so. And then we will have a fellowship after. For now, I invite you, if you feel comfortable to do so, to gently close your eyes and take a deep, easy breath for this time of prayer. And as we breathe in the ha, the breath, the life, we call on that presence of God, divine love, Holy Spirit. We feel you here right now. You are the love that holds us together, the peace that surrounds us, the light that guides us gently through this moment. We give thanks for the precious life of Gloria. We give thanks that each one of us was touched in some way by her beautiful being. We now bless and release her into your care, trusting that she continues her journey in perfect peace and radiant joy. We bless also every heart that is gathered here and those that are joining us online, family, friends, all who loved her. We allow that comfort of connection to blanket this chapel, the airwaves, right here and right now. We choose love. We give thanks for Gloria, for our connection with her, for the love that she is and always will be. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Amen. And now I would like to invite up Flo Fernandez from Gloria's Halal to dance a hula for us. Oh, the whole halal. Okay. Please.
Test 1, 2. Aloha mai kako. Aloha. So Shane, I did his urn. So I did the artwork on his urn. So as soon as I saw your shirt, I was very touched to see that. So my condolences to you as well. And to all of you, my condolences as well to you. Now, you know, of course, I'm here to really speak about aloha and a life lived with aloha. And so all of you who just did the hula, my goodness, how beautiful that was. And filled with smiles, filled with aloha. So please put your hands together again for the halau. Mahalo, mahalo. So I'm just gonna give a few insights on a life lived with aloha, right? And pretty much for the way that we move and live. And if we're conscious of what we're doing in this lifetime, then we hope that we can always be an example of love and aloha as we move through life, whether it be with our ohana, our friends, those that we meet for the first time, whatever it is. We hope that they can take away a part of our relationship, our connection, a deeper sense of what aloha truly is and the way that we are meant to care for one another. And I met Gloria many years ago. I don't know how long ago, maybe 2015, 14 or so is when we had met each other. And she has always been so very gracious in life, and the things that she would share and the way that she would be so excited to hula for us, to share her deeper sense of understanding. And even up until just months before, I think she realized how sick she was. And she got to join us in circle at Kapiolani Park. I have a circle there called Huliao, where we just come and help each other to dive into a deeper sense of what is a metaphysical understanding of spirituality. And we talk story. And so Gloria came, and you folks both shared a beautiful hula with us in circle. And we were just so blessed on that day. So blessed to have the both of you there to come and share with us. So in gratitude to you as well for sharing that time with us. In aloha, I love to liken it, especially in a ceremony such as this, the idea of why a life lived with aloha is so important. In the Oli Aloha, it speaks of the fragrances of the trees of the forest, right? The hala tree and the ohia lehua trees, that as we come into nature, all the trees really know is the giving of their essence to everyone that comes into the forest. It doesn't hold back. It doesn't discriminate on who it gives its love to. It just gives it to everybody. So within the Oli, it says that nature waits with anticipation and excitement for us to arrive. For when we arrive, then the party can really begin, right? In the way that it gives to us. And this is how aloha ought to work. In the way that we just give, and when we think we've given everything, we find that because we gave so much, we have so much more to give, right? Because at the same time we are giving, we are also receiving of that love, that reciprocity of love. I'm going to start off with a scripture, and this is Proverbs 3:18. And I love to liken a life to a tree, especially a mana wahine, right? The way that they care, the way that they look out for others. So Proverbs 3:18, it says, "She is a tree of life to those who lay hold of her. Those who hold her fast are called blessed." Many times we don't think about our lives in the way that it affects others, right? A tree just is a tree as far as it knows, right? So as it grows, as it reaches down to the deeper, waters that lay below it, it gains nutrients, it grows, it becomes big, it reaches out, across whatever kind of tree it is. It just reaches out, and upon its branches, under its leaves, are many, many different communities that can thrive under this canopy. And their lives go accordingly to how and where the tree is. They create a whole system because of this one tree, but the tree doesn't even think twice about it. It just is, right? It's just creating that space for these different communities to exist. And so it's a beautiful way to understand what our lives should be as well, that as we come to an understanding of why my life should be about aloha, why my life should be about love and a constant giving of love, this is because in my quietness, in my just being, I sustain many other communities as well. We all do. We all have that power within us to do so. But we have to be conscious of that to some degree. We have to answer to what our purpose is in life and be very, very intentional about it. When we give leis, we don't just give lei and walk away. We give lei and give a big hug, let them know how much we love them, how much we are giving of our breath to them. So it's something for us to be very, very mindful of. A little poem that I'll share with you kind of encapsulates what I'm talking about. It says, "Beneath the sun of kindness stands a tree of aloha's grace. Roots run deep in ancient soil, branches open to embrace. In the shade of gentle wisdom, every traveler finds their rest. For a life lived with true aloha is a life in love expressed. Isn't that beautiful? Right? So I'm going to break down aloha a little bit so that if you're not mindful of aloha, then I hope this brings you back to center. There's a few ways, several different ways that we can express aloha, right? For the most part, majority of the time, it is to say hello to one another as a greeting, a salutation. Another way, which is a less looked upon way, would be to use alo and ha, because aloha cannot be broken apart into its parts. However, alo and ha describe aloha pretty beautifully. And then lastly would be with Antipilahi Paki's A-L-O-H-A. So alo is forward facing as we face each other. It has to be intentional, right? Everything that we face. So that would be all of you in here, the church itself, the trees outside, the air, the sun, the breeze. Everything that is in front of me becomes my kuleana to take care of as long as I live and breathe, right? I have to make it intentional so everything I see becomes my responsibility. Alo also means within God's embrace or God's bosom. And then lastly, alo means within this presence, no matter where we are, any place around this beautiful planet of ours, wherever we are meant to share of our ha, our breath, that life that we give to one another. So it's not something that we take lightly, right? Every one of you in here, I may see you for the first time. I may have met you for the first time today. But if I recall you as we step out of this place and as we go live our lives, and if we run into each other, I guarantee you I will give you the biggest hug possible, because it is my responsibility to take care of you in some way, somehow, to make that connection and to remain connected to you for the rest of my life. That's aloha, right? The giving and giving. Pilai Pakihi's way was given to us in 1970 as they were conducting a meeting for the Governor's Conference for the year 2000. 30 years prior to the year 2000, they were trying to describe and come to an understanding of what aloha really was so that we could move forward into the future by being conscious of sharing our aloha with others. And nobody really knew at that Governor's Conference how to express aloha. So Pilahi Paki stood up and said, "This is aloha." And she broke it down into the aloha chant, A-L-O-H-A. The first A is akahai. Akahai is to be kind and gentle, to be gracious with each other, with our relationships. And I always liken it to holding a newborn child, to know how fragile this child is that we hold, to know how much love and responsibility I carry in my hands. This is akahai as I build relationship with you. The L is lokahi, or unity, harmony, and balance, to always be mindful of balance, knowing that there is a structure to it all. And in the sense of lokahi, the structure is to our kupuna was na akua, right? The gods of our ancient Hawaiians. And nowadays people might want to just say ke akua, God. So God, a very, very important part of this structure. The aina, the land, the thing that we take care of would in turn feed us. And so there's a beautiful reciprocity between us and aina. And aina, land, ocean, whatever it is that we are meant to take care of. And then lastly, kanaka, right? So in our kupuna's time, of course, it was depending on each other because each of us had different skill sets. So the farmer had to communicate with the canoe builder, who had to communicate with the fishermen, because together they were stronger. They could support each other in this life. So that is lokahi. The O is olu olu, or to be in agreement with each other, to find agreement in our relationships. We know that there will be many times of disagreement. But what are we willing to give up of ourselves that no longer sustains this relationship and supports this relationship? And who are we willing to become in order to make this relationship stronger? Right? That is olu olu. Really have to be mindful of who we are, what we bring to the table, what we bring to our relationships, and whatever pilikia exists, then maybe it is me. Maybe I have to reflect upon what I am bringing to the table and get rid of it. Olu olu. The H is ha'aha'a, or humility and modesty, to be humble, humble, humble. We cannot carry ego into relationships that are built on love because they cannot coexist together. Ego will always try and steal whatever space it can steal by whomever, right? Including love. So we have to be careful when we want things our way all the time, then that separates us from the love that we are aspiring to become. So ha'aha'a. The last A in aloha is is ahunui. Ahunui is to be patient, but to be patient with perseverance. In other words, do not give up on our relationships. Do not give up on our connections that we build. Do not give up on this love. You understand that we're going to go through many hills and valleys, and we're going to find our way through. But if we allow ourselves to just move without intention, then we will find ourselves lost, right? So always come back to ahunui, the patience with perseverance. Receive each other, love each other, know that our relationships stand upon this love. So we put it all together, and if we live life again on purpose by maintaining and understanding all of these characteristics and traits, then we live a pretty good life. We live a very full life, a life that is never disconnected from others. And I'm not just talking about Kanaka, right? I'm talking about everything, from the land to God to everything around us as well. So there's a constant connection to gain this relationship, or to maintain this relationship. So Queen Liliu Okalani, her famous quote, which is a snippet of the bigger quote, was, "To gain the kingdom of heaven is to hear what is not said, to see what cannot be seen, and to know the unknowable." That is aloha. This I know that Gloria understood, in the way in how she gave, in her liberty of giving of her love to others, to sharing of her deeper mana'o, to sharing of her hula. This was all a sense of giving aloha, right? And to give meant that she would always be receiving. There's never any worry about me to receive love, because I know, first of all, that my whole intention is to give love. And again, this is the life of aloha. So I just wanted to share a little bit deeper essence of what it meant, or what it means to live a life of aloha. And I'm sure there are many, many more deeper ways of understanding aloha, but this is a good start. So if you are interested in learning some more, really just ask yourself, how much am I giving today? Am I giving freely, or am I giving with measurement? Am I giving so that I'm looking for the receiving? And then that's not aloha. I have to give without expectation. And so this is how I know, in the little bit that I've known Gloria over the years, that she never expected anything back. Her whole thing was to give, and give. So how many of you know this of Gloria as well? Beautiful, right? So how many of you know this of yourself? Beautiful. Beautiful. And if you don't know this of yourself, then now you know. Now there's a starting point for you to really dive into yourself, and how beautiful this world will be when you come to that deeper understanding of aloha. So mahalo to all of you for allowing me to be here to express that deeper sense of aloha. And again, my condolences to all of you, but this is a celebration of Gloria's life. Yeah, to honor her, to celebrate her because of all of the love and the smiles and really the true and deep aloha that she gave through her lifetime. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo. Aloha.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very honored to be here to celebrate the glorious life of my friend Gloria. I stayed up late last night writing page after page after page of tribute to her, trying to remember everything that we had shared. And then I just said, this is impossible, because we shared so much over 11 years, which is a long time for a friendship to bloom in its essence. And I feel Gloria's presence here today, so I feel it's still blooming. And I know that our relationship, our friendship will go on forever. And I thank her for that. I'm a Unity minister, and I'm a teacher of the Course in Miracles. And I can honestly say I'm only assuming those roles today because of Gloria's influence, because she had a profound impact on me, for which I am so, so grateful. I met her about 11 years ago at Unity Windward in Kaneohe, where I was a new member. My husband and I had moved here from the mainland, and I really didn't know anybody, but I found out quickly that they had Saturday at the movies. Ooh, Saturday at the movies. And the movies were chosen in order to to demonstrate how they resonated with the teachings of the Course in Miracles, which I had studied previously, but I didn't know it like my good friend Gloria. And so that's when I first met Gloria. And I remember being at Unity Windward, and she walked in, and I thought, who is that woman? I've never seen her before. She was just beautifully. She always wore flowing clothes and scarves, and she just looked magical. And she is magical. And she came that day because she was very excited to see a movie called Lucy. And Lucy, the movie, which was a science fiction movie, became very, very important to her. And she talked about Lucy over and over during the course of our evolving friendship, because she was Lucy. So I have to tell you about Lucy. Has anyone seen the movie Lucy? Nobody else? Okay, you guys, that's one of your home practices then. You have to go see that movie and think about Gloria. So the movie stars Scarlett Johansson, and it's about a young woman who accidentally absorbs a synthetic drug that begins to increase her brain capability. So at the beginning of the movie, she's just an ordinary woman on the streets trying to make a living, and her brain capacity is about 3%. But as the movie unfolds, her brain starts to expand to 10%, and then 25%. And then finally, at the end of the movie, when these thugs are chasing her because they want this miraculous drug that she has stored in her body, she achieves 100% brain capacity. And that was Gloria's goal. And she achieved it, I think. I really believe that's true. Through the Course in Miracles. I don't want to cry, but this is part of it. Thank you, Gloria. So what did that mean? In the movie, the young woman, Scarlett Johansson, she achieved extraordinary psychic abilities. She began to be able to move matter. She could move people. She could levitate people. And she understood all the secrets of the universe. And this was Gloria's goal. This is why she was so excited about this movie. So I used to joke with her and call her Lucy. Okay, Lucy, when we were in class together, because Gloria was my Course in Miracles teacher, as well as a student, because we shared a lot of teachings, and we went back and forth between assuming that role of both teacher and student. But for the early part of our friendship, she was my teacher, and she will always be my teacher, my glorious Gloria teacher. But she was Lucy, and later on she became other things to me. And I'm going to continue to talk about Unity Windward a lot, which was my home plate for a while. And Gloria visited us there often. She taught Course in Miracles there, much to my delight and many people's happiness. And while we were there, we didn't really know each other that well yet, but we met a young man named Metatron. Does anybody remember Metatron? I knew Michael would in the back. Yeah, Metatron, he was this very interesting man. I believe he was homeless, but he just kind of wandered into our lives. And he became fascinated with me and Gloria. He used to say, "You two are exactly the same, and you don't know it. You're exactly the same." And Gloria would look at me and go, I doubt that. And I thought, well, I know there is something here. But he said, "I want to give you a test." And he had developed or had researched a psychological test, and he pushed us until we took the test. And we took the test, and we gave him the results, and he came running up to us afterwards and said, "See, I told you, you're both golden warriors." And we were like, "Golden warriors? Oh, that's not bad." And that kind of cemented our friendship because we acknowledged each other as equals. We were both kind of on that path of evolving consciousness. So that was where we started. Golden warrior. But she saw the golden warrior in me. And I know she saw the golden warrior in all of you too. And that's why you're here. Because she saw it and she felt it was her job to develop it for you and to make you see it as well, that you're all golden warriors, which means you're all teachers, you're all spiritual leaders, and you're all wisdom seekers. And you are wisdom. You are the embodiment of Christ consciousness. You are wisdom itself. Yeah, and somebody's going, yeah, in the back. So thank you, Gloria, for pointing out the truth that we are all golden warriors. And much later, we continued our friendship, and we began to study Course in Miracles as a very small group. In fact, it was just two of us, Sandy Whitworth and I, who's not here today. But Gloria would take the bus from Honolulu every week just to show up for me and Sandy to teach us Course in Miracles. And we had riveting insights. The wisdom that was shared was the kind that would shake you and quake you and give you chicken skin. It was like that. But that's how I really got to know Gloria. That first class that she taught us was called I Need Do Nothing. I Need Do Nothing. And it was from her favorite chapter in the Course in Miracles, I Need Do Nothing. She loved it so much she made a whole course about it, and she talked about it all the time. The essence of the teaching of I Need Do Nothing is that we are all on this path of enlightenment. We are all seeking, but no, we're really not. The message was you really don't have to seek because you are already it. You are already pure and perfect Christ consciousness. So all you need to do is just rest and absorb it all. Absorb the aloha, as Ryan would say. And I love that teaching, and she did too. Later on, this is when I was just a Unity member. I was not a minister yet, but I remember we started having Course in Miracles classes at my house, and they got very intimate. And Gloria just kind of stared at me one day, and she said, you know, have you ever thought about being a Unity minister? And I was like, ha, 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 ha. What, are you kidding? Why would you say that? That's ridiculous. I said, what about you? You're the golden warrior. You should be the Unity minister. She said, I don't have to. I'm living with one. I get all the benefits. And she was talking about Margie. That's the truth, Margie. And she does get all the benefits. She did from living with Margie. So Gloria was so many things to all of us. And I could go on and on and on about her. She babysat my cats. We have 4 cats, and she was kind enough and generous enough to give of her time so my husband and I could take a vacation, and she took excellent care of our cats. There was one cat that didn't really take to her, though, and I remember that was her goal when she was at her house. I'm going to make that cat love me no matter what. The cat's name was Moonpenny, and then she did a whole lesson on Moonpenny about how Moonpenny, the mysterious cat, was really her. It was a reflection of her own consciousness, and she needed to get to know that part of herself in order to continue on her journey. So it was very beautiful. She always turned any situation into pure poetry, into an expression of our inner joy and our need to remember who we are, because we tend to forget that we're limitless, we're vast, we're golden warriors. So thank you, Gloria, for the reminders. Gloria, again, gave many, many classes to us. When Reverend Geo Downer was the senior minister at Unity when we were in Kaneohe, he and Sandy Whitworth and Tim Bush and I used to gather from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock every Sunday just to talk Course in Miracles, and we would watch videos and we would share the deepest aspects of our personal lives, our personal journeys, and Gloria would lead us through all of it and help us. That was her goal. She wanted to help. She was a teacher above all, a wisdom seeker, but a person who wanted to ignite wisdom in everyone she met. She felt that was her job. But she closed every single class with the same prayer. It was from Course in Miracles, and I did write that down somewhere on my notes here. And it talks about what she really wanted. And she said this over and over and over. So I'm going to read it to you and close with this. The peace of God is everything I want. The peace of God is my one goal, the aim of all my living here, the end I seek, my purpose and my function and my life while I abide where I am not at home. So we honor Gloria today because we know she is in her true home. She is safe, she is happy, she is in the arms of the everlasting. And as the movie Lucy pointed out, she is everywhere. Thank you, everyone. God bless.
Aloha. I'm Reverend Margie Hyatt, the one that lived with Gloria. And if she didn't have to become a Unity minister because she lived with me, well, I didn't have to study A Course in Miracles because I lived with the expert. I heard quotes every day, all day long. There was not a subject about life that happened in our space or otherwise that she could not pull a quote and apply it on the moment. That was Gloria. I did live with her for a decade. It's very unusual that I had a roommate because I'm not given to a roommate, and Gloria certainly didn't want a roommate. But she was looking for her next divine assignment, and I had an invitation to go to Australia. And if you're going across the ocean, wouldn't you go for as long as you can stay? like every darn day the visa will allow. Well, that was my plan. And so I needed somebody to stay and take care of my cat, my beloved cat. And Gloria said yes, reluctantly maybe. But she needed her next divine assignment. She lived by Spirit directing her where, what, when, and how in every detail of her life. And she was just concluding what she referred to as the last divine assignment of caring for an individual to the end of their life, providing hospice care in their home. Interesting that that's where she started and that's where we ended, she and I. So she moved in. And we thought, well, this will last as long as it lasts. And what happens when I come home? Well, we don't know. But I'm not going to put your suitcase out on the curb when I come home, and we'll just see how it goes. Thinking that she would be called to her next divine assignment in perfect timing. Well, she was. It just was 10 years later. And it was that perhaps the ultimate divine assignment. The impact that Gloria had on my life was to just be that spiritual partner, to have that presence in my life, to talk with matters at a deep level always, because Gloria would never go anywhere where she had to be engaged in cocktail conversation. You know that, right? If she was going to talk, it was going to be important. And she was going to have effect on you. Sue did such a beautiful job of describing the Gloria that I know, that I lived with. I met her when I first came here to Unity Church of Hawaii. And I thought, oh, that's a soul I want to know. But Gloria also had a deep reserve, and you didn't get that door opened until she was good and ready. Yeah. And slowly we became friends. And then this opportunity came up that I needed someone to move in, and it lasted forever. Here in this space, she had a rich history. We used to have a bookstore, and years ago, Gloria managed the bookstore and sort of operated sangha, spiritual gatherings for deep discussion, when she managed the bookstore. In the next and later era of her life here, we no longer had, she no longer managed the bookstore, but our minister at one point wanted to create a lending library. And he asked Gloria, would she manage it? Because of her deep spiritual knowledge, her skill, or ability to identify what people might need or how she could direct them. And Reverend Sky called Gloria our Libra therapist. Because her great gift is you could walk into this space and say, you know, I think I want to study about, I want to know more about, and Gloria could go to the book on the shelf and pull it down and sit and talk with you about the question you had. Maybe not from the perspective of that book, but she knew that book could help you. She had that intuitive sense, and she could certainly provide wisdom from her deep knowledge of the Course in Miracles. Gloria was a chef. Oh, how blessed am I to have lived with her food all these years, and especially her baking. And every week when she went to her halau, most weeks she would bake something special for the group and take it. And the great secret of living with her is she baked a second one for us. Or she at least would give me a taste of something if she was taking all of it to the event. She was that magical indeed person. Now I have two wishes to today. One of them is that I printed out my notes, but I did not. Years ago, I had a serious health challenge when Gloria and I were sharing space, and she did her best to be my caregiver. She was an excellent caregiver when I allowed her to be. And then I got to return the favor in her illness and toward the end of her life to be her caregiver when she allowed me to be. An extremely independent, powerful woman who did not want to be mollycoddled and definitely did not want to be told what to do. Now, my personality as a caregiver is I want to do it all. I want to help you with absolutely everything, and I'm going to think of what you need before you know you need it. And that was not what Gloria needed. So we had a lot of corrective discussions about my behavior, and I received a lot of remedial training from Gloria in how to best care for her. She was just a deep and rich blessing. And the person that I recognize still as somebody who so deeply wanted to know God within herself, know God in the world, know God in others, that she was so singularly focused on her spiritual journey, for which I had deep admiration. And I also recognized for other people not in that path, it was maybe not the thing they regarded with respect or appreciation about Gloria. But she didn't go about it forcing her opinion on you. If you came to her with a question, no, you were going to get both barrels. It was going to be fire hose time. There was never half measures about what she knew spiritually important. And so it was just a beautiful gift to share space with her, to share life, to share the journey of going forward. Several of us today are wearing tea leaf braided lei. There are so many things I wish I'd learned from Gloria. And I realized too late that although she made these all the time, and I have a whole collection of dried ones, when she made one for me almost every time I preached a message here or any special occasion, I'd never learned how to do it from Gloria. So I'm often overconfident, so I can learn from a YouTube video, right? Thank God for friends who save you when you don't have quite enough information from the YouTube video. But it just seemed important to bring this aspect of who Gloria had been for a number of us into today's ceremony. And I know as Sue expressed that she's right here, dancing with the halal on the sidelines and whispering wisdom in each of your ears that she would deliver if she were here in person. Near the end of her life, and when people came to visit, even then, and maybe especially then, the conversation needed to be deep for Gloria. I think she recognized she was nearing the end of her life opportunity in the body to utilize the intellect to understand the deeper wisdom. And I'm told that often at Course in Miracles and these conversations we had in the last weeks of her life, when she was ready to speak, so the thing is, does anybody else remember this gesture? Yeah, the thing is, and she'd hold forth. And one day I started doing it with her. And she paused. She said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I don't know what this is, but it looks important, so I'm in on it." She said, she chuckled and thought, "Well, this is my antenna, and I don't want to miss a single signal." So whenever you want to be in touch with Gloria, the thing is, just hold up your antenna and invite her presence in your heart. Thank you. The other wish I have today is that when I was planning this, I stayed conscious to the fact that when you give 4 ministers a microphone, you're going to be here a while. And I thank them all for the wisdom they have and will shared. But we want to make space for others of you as well. And I have asked some of Gloria's particularly close friends to come and share with you. And the first one of them is her hula sister, Leilani Kaywood. Leilani.
Mahalo. Just like my friends, I took so many times to write what I'm going to say about Gloria, and I would say about 5 times. And what happened is it came in an unexpected format, the format of stories. So I am going to have 3 little stories about Gloria, and they even have a title. Number 1 is called The Parsley Plant. I love Gloria like a sister. We were close, and we practiced hula every Monday in my garage. There were 4 of us, and Gloria lived right across the street. There was Susan, Nalani, myself, and Gloria. And Gloria was the one who always remembered the correct hula moves. She was so graceful. Gloria was graceful all the time, not just when she was dancing. And I thought about it. I remember that I never saw her once come down my driveway without having a flower in her hand to give me. And she always wore flowers in her hair. So one day I had a plan. I wanted to become really healthy. So part of the plan was to grow my own veggies. And I had heard that parsley was really healthy. So I decided, without telling anyone, I was going to go out and buy a parsley plant. That day, Gloria came down the driveway like she usually did, and I couldn't believe my eyes. In her hand was a parsley plant. And she said to me, "Hey, they were giving these away for free. This is for you." And they gave this too. And along with the parsley plant, she handed me a pair of free garden gloves. And I would say that's what you call the universe winking at you. Story number 2 is called Guava Cake and More. As you all know, Gloria loved to bake. And you're lucky if you ever tasted her amazing guava cake. Our hula class was on Wednesday evening, and somehow she made it so that her cake was still hot when she brought it to class. And as soon as Kumu gave us the signal, one of the sisters would start counting how many people were in the class, so Gloria could cut the cake into that many pieces. In other words, the less people, the bigger the piece of cake. And as Gloria started dishing out the cake, I would run to the freezer and start getting the ice cream. And I'm talking about the freezer that had a sign on it that said, "No food allowed in this freezer." So we passed out the freezer, the ice cream and the cake, and hula sisters were passing it out and talking and laughing and having fun. And sometimes the break would take really a little bit long. And I would joke, "Are we here to dance or to eat?" And Gloria often used lots of raisins because Kumu loved raisins. And it wasn't until after Gloria got sick that she told me, "You know, if it weren't for you, I would have never been able to bring that warm cake and that cold ice cream because you always gave me a ride." And Gloria's desserts were one of the things that brought our halau closer together. And my third and final story is called Talk Story, because Gloria loved to talk story. It was not unusual for her to say to me, "I was walking along the beach when I sat down on this wall, and this man came over and sat next to me, and we started talking. We talked for 3 hours." No, this was not unusual for Gloria. One day, Gloria invited me to study Ho'oponopono, a Hawaiian healing practice at McKinley High School. They went around the table and asked every person, "What brought you here?" And I said, "Gloria invited me." The next person next to me said, "Gloria invited me." And almost half the people there were invited by Gloria. Gloria sent out messages of inspiration every morning through a text. And she even had a regular schedule where she talked to friends about spiritual matters. Maybe you were one of those friends. Sometimes I'd call Gloria about some problem I might have, and she would remind me to look at the situation from a different perspective, from a different point of view. Her overall message was one of love, a message not to strive for love or be more loving, but that we are love. So let me conclude my 3 stories with this message. Every day, say to yourself, "We are love. You are love. I am love. And as she always ended her phone message, have a glorious day. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nalani Kirkpatrick, and I met Gloria in 2012 when she joined our hula class. And then in 2013, my husband and I, we had what we called an orphan Thanksgiving. And anybody that didn't have any real connection were welcome to come. And Gloria came then, and I think our friendship began then. But for many years, we were more of acquaintances than true friends. But in 2024, when we started practicing hula, the four of us at Leilani's house, women practice, and then we girl gab, and we practice and girl gab. Then we'd bring a treat, and we'd eat. So in that period is when we truly became friends, the girl gab part. And after she became ill, she didn't come as often, but she would come and help us because, as Leilani pointed out, she was the one that remembered the moves and how to get it on time and maybe add a little finesse and grace. And one day she said she was going to come over. And when she came over, she sat and she goes, "And I want to talk to you." And I went, uh-oh. And I had someone sort of hurt me, and in the girl gab, I guess we had talked about it. And she said, "What I want you to know is that person that hurt you has an injury. And every time you think of them or it crosses your mind, please send forgiveness and please send love." And I think I really have incorporated that into my life. And so just as a little hint from Gloria, when you're hurt or you're angry at someone, send them forgiveness and send them love. And the greatest of those is love.
Thank you, Nalani. One of the greatest gifts that Gloria brought into my life recently was getting acquainted with her three sisters that she danced with weekly. Susan, who won't come to the microphone, Nalani, and Leilani. They were instrumental in helping Gloria, help Gloria in those last weeks. One of her dear, dear friends is a gentleman named Mark Nicholas. Hi, Mark, who is watching us from his home in Eugene, Oregon. And Mark met Gloria many years ago, and they became very, very close friends. Very close friends. And in fact, I didn't know Mark's name until recently, because I would hear her laughing sometimes when she'd been on the phone. And when she got off the call, she would say to me, "I was talking with my husband." Imagine that word with her Caribbean lilt. They just were such close friends, spiritual partners, that they still stayed in touch for many years after Mark had moved to the mainland. And he couldn't be here today, but he did send some thoughts, and I want to share what Mark wrote about his relationship with Gloria. Some years ago, having just moved back to Hawaii, a friend wanted me to meet this interesting person. "It's that you two think alike," he told me. My first memory was this rainbow woman walking towards our car. Our eyes met, and it was like we already knew each other. This was over 35 years ago, and Gloria and I have shared a journey filled with magical, mystical experiences. I met Gloria's mother. Many of you may remember Ruby Corea. She was part of our church. And her daughter, Lindsay. You saw pictures of Lindsay in the slideshow. Mark continues, "I loved hearing about Gloria being raised in St. Vincent, the Caribbean island. That Gloria, Lindsay, and I loved going to the beach together. A bond was formed and a new family really was born. Gloria and I loved going to the sacred spots here on the island and would visit a heiau on Oahu many times. We had a passion for Pele and Kilauea, always planning for a trip to the Big Island where I had once lived. Living on the mainland these last 25 years, we would send morning texts to each other and speak about life, about spirit, and about the larger goings-on in the world. I had held mystical and spiritual circles on the mainland and in several countries. We always had things to talk about, and these were very precious times. For many years, we were talking about if I thought I would ever move back to Hawaii. We spoke about it often, and when it was obvious that I would indeed stay in Oregon, Gloria said how we would miss seeing each other, and she was going to indeed call me her husband in her glorious Caribbean voice. Our connection has grown stronger through the years. Recently, with Margie's help, I got to speak to Gloria on the phone. I understood that she was now unable to speak and that this had been the case for a few days, but I thought it might be healing for both of us if I could speak to her of our mutual affection and love. When saying to her, aloha, Gloria, it's your husband, Margie told me that she moaned with a smile on her face. Gloria will live in my heart forever. Aloha, beloved one. From Mark Nicholas. Mark, thank you for sharing. One of our speakers was unable to be here today, so Reverend Johanna will conclude with this section.
Thank you, Reverend Margie. I'm going to keep this short because so many of you have already shared so much of who Gloria is, was, ever will be. And I met Gloria in 2013, and it wasn't until recently when Gloria and I were having a conversation at her house, her apartment, that she revealed to me what our first interaction was about. And I think, Leilani, you were there. It took me by surprise. Oh, and Susan, you were as well. And I had an opportunity to reflect on it. I won't go through the details of what that was. But I also realized during her sharing, because days before I'd shared something that I had a regret about and I was seeking forgiveness for, that I had held on to throughout our decade-long friendship. And when she revealed what she wanted to talk to me about, it had me reflect about really who I was as a truth student, who I was as a parent, who I was as a person showing up, and the experience of who I wasn't anymore as well. How much we change when we enter into this spiritual path. And I don't even know if this message is for you all. I just want to say that no matter your spiritual path, whether you have one or you don't, Gloria's path was unique for her. And no matter who you are in her life, she loves you. That every day she kept you in her heart. That no one knows what takes over when the love of God, the passion for truth springs forth. And it looks like a separation, a division in relationships, but truly it's not. It's a unification. That there's nothing divided in the mind of God. And Gloria every day lived that. And some may think it was to a fault, that maybe some relationships were destroyed, or that there was a separation or an exclusion. It wasn't that at all. In the mind of God, all is one. Thank you. And now, I would like to bring up again our second hula by Gloria's Halau Hula sisters. Thank you.
Sisters, thank you so much for sharing your love for Gloria through dance. One thing I forgot to share that I feel is very important, it speaks to Gloria. One of the things she shared with me that has brought a real light and the truth of that she stood for into my experience. Gloria lived with such courage. She lived with immense curiosity and deep tenderness, compassion, and with an unshakable faith in spirit. She danced her life through hula, danced it gracefully, passionately, and deeply with love, as has been said. Within the program, there is a prayer that Gloria taught me. Another thing that she could say from memory. The thing is. So I want to read it out loud so that her family and friends watching from across the mainland can sense the power that this had for Gloria, because she never spoke it as rote prayer. She spoke it with deep connection to the meaning it held for her. It's called the Truly Helpful Prayer, written by a gentleman named Robert Perry. It is based in a text from the Course in Miracles. That's what the reference is at the bottom. Use your antenna if you wish. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent Him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because He who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever He wishes, knowing He goes there with me. I will be healed as I let Him teach me to heal. And so it is. So I want to give us all an opportunity to be in connection with the beautiful energy that has been created in this space, because you brought your energy into this space to connect with Gloria today. I think we should do so. So I'm going to invite you in a moment to center yourself in quiet. Close your eyes if you wish, although I appreciate open-eyed prayer and meditation as well. And I'm going to invite us to be in that meditative space of allowing Gloria's presence to be felt right here, right now, in your heart. That you are listening to Gloria's voice in your mind. So take a deep breath with me in, and you can release fully. And as you center in this space of an open-hearted presence, connecting to the God of your knowing, or connecting to the infinite wisdom that is here and now present in this space. Bring Gloria into your heart. If it helps you to focus there, you can place your hand on your heart and feel that energy. Feel the love that you have shared with her for years. Feel Gloria's essence in this moment. And I know that Gloria did not give many of you an opportunity to know what was going on with her, or to give you the chance to say what you would want to say to her. And so here is your chance. Here is your opportunity to speak in your mind to the beloved friend Gloria, to share what's on your heart. Because what I know is that Gloria lives in the heart of God, just as she sought it here so deeply in this physical life. In this chapter that she has now entered, there's no resistance, there's no distance, no separation between Gloria and the energy of love that she chose to share in the world. And if you speak in your heart, Gloria hears in her heart and through the mind of God. And then you can choose to listen for a moment. Listen for what Gloria would have shared with you had she been able. The presence of the infinite is like the most extraordinary Wi-Fi connection you will ever experience. And Gloria is tapped in and can message you in your heart and your mind right now. Simply be open to receive. See that chime? Did you hear that chime? I trust that's our beloved Gloria. Gloria had deep connection to and such love for so many of the practices here in Hawaii. And she treasured spending time in the ocean. Leilani shared a story that she'd be down at the beach walking, but sit down and meet a perfect stranger who didn't stay a stranger. And when she would come home, I would ask her, "Did you have a Gloria kind of day?" And she would tell me, whoever it was she met, whatever they shared together. And her experience of the ocean here was deeply spiritual. So think of that when you are sad for Gloria. And if you can go to the ocean, how lovely to walk into the water and let the surf coming in bring all the love of the universe into your own heart. And let the receding wave carry away any grief, sorrow, sadness, regret, as the next wave fills you with the presence and activity of love itself, because Gloria would send only that to you in this moment. Release your prayers into the ocean. Release them into the Aina. As Gloria vibrated deeply in that energy, she will feel, sense, hear you every time you bring her to mind. Take a deep breath and release. And Reverend Johanna is going to share closing comments with us.
Thank you, Reverend Margie. And thank you to each one of you who have joined us today, those online as well. Your presence has made the difference. And before I invite Reverend Ryan up for our closing song and Oli, we'll just take this time to just look around this beautiful room with all these wonderful people that Gloria so much dearly loved. And we're bringing you into this presence, into this space as well, online. I also want to remind you, after service, we're going to be in the courtyard where we're going to have a little bit of beverages and pupus and then a kanakapila as well. So after service, please join us in the courtyard. At Unity Church of Hawaii, we have a tradition of closing out the formal program with our prayer for protection. So before I invite Reverend Ryan up, I would invite each one of us to say the prayer for protection as we move to the next and final segment of today's celebration of life service. Knowing that, and if you know it, please join me. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And wherever Gloria is, which is in the heart and the mind of God, all is well. And so it is. Thanks to each one of you. Reverend Ryan.
So I'm going to flip it around. I'm going to do the Oli Mahalo first and then Hawaii Aloha. And I'll have everyone stand as we always do and make a circle around the chapel. The Oli Mahalo is a beautiful, beautiful Oli that was composed and written by Kehau Kamara. And in English, it speaks about if you grew up in Hawaii, in a Hawaiian family, you know that there was every time we had potluck or every time we had a meeting at the beach or something, we would lay out the big lauhala mats, or probably some of you had the Filipino mats that were opened up. And we all sat on the mat. The mat was the mat. And we sat on the mat. We had the food in the middle. We talked story. We had our ukuleles. We shared in that beautiful, beautiful time together. And in this case, in English, he says, to spread forth, open up the most fine quality mat. Exchange, share as potluck or aloha. Exchange as greeting between man and wife and descendants. to adorn with the lehua flower from east to west, sunrise to sunset. We are discoverers, navigators. Take care of our aina. We thank our creators. We thank our ancestors. We thank you with love. We thank you with love. So this time I want you to just close your eyes and again really connect with this beautiful, beautiful essence and spirit around us, and to know that again there is no separation whatsoever with any of us as we say our prayers, as we sing, as we kanikapila later on together. We are also doing that with our ancestors, with those that have taught us everything that we know now. And this is our oli to acknowledge them. Uholaya kamakaloala, puai ke alohala, kukaiya kahaloala, kapavehi mai na lehua, mai ka ho'okuia kahalavaila, mahalo e na kuha. Mahalo e nā kupuna laea, mahalo me ke alohala, mahalo me ke alohala, mahalo me ke alohala. Mahalo, mahalo. At this time, I'd like everyone to please stand and go ahead and make a circle. And if we have to adjust, then adjust as you need to make sure that everybody is included within this circle. And we're all going to sing Hawaii Aloha together. Test 1, 2. Okay. All right. Gotta hold my elbow, I think. Okay, so holding hands wise, left hand up, right hand down. So left hand up, right hand down. And so this is because the intention is that we receive with our left and we give with our right, right? So we receive with our left and we give with our right. And so there is a constant exchange of energy of love between all of us as we sing Hawaii Aloha together. Sorry, you got to hold my elbow though. Oh, my shoulder is good. Shoulder is good. All right, so if you know it, please do not hold back. Sing, sing, sing. E Hawaii e kuone hanau e kuome kula ivine oli no au ina pono lanio e Hawaii aloha e hau oli na o pio Hawaii Maina e a e makani e pa maine mau ke aloha no Hawaii e au oli na o pio Hawaii ne Mau ke aloha no Hawaii. One more time, mau ke aloha. mau ke aloha, aloha wai'i. That was perfect timing for the phone call. Wow. Mahalo, everyone, for being here. And again, and take your time, breathe in each other's company. And of course, take your time, go to the beach, just enjoy the water and share breath with Gloria there. Mahalo, mahalo, mahalo.
Yamako, let me share one more chant. I normally share it with our group from Kadikapila. And this is a closing chant. It's simply Lana Kamuna'u, Lana Ko'umana'u. And this simply ends what we've done here. We've all come together in good heart, in good fellowship. But now, as it's time to leave, may God go with us all until we meet again. Lana komana oine yahuiana, nei po mai ka io ka hakua aloha. Ki aloha ho o hau o li pu vai, vai vai ka meha no ka huiana, ke akua pu, a hui ho, ka ko. Everyone. Ke akua pu, ahui ho, kako. Ai, ke akua pu ahui ho kako. Mahalo.